Thank you for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya, this being Entertainment Thursday. And in the spirit of celebrating women, as that is what we are doing today, I have with me the co-founder of Africa Women's Orchestra. Her name is Wandiri Karimi. Wandiri, good morning.
Good morning, Vivian.
Good to see you after such a long time.
But you don't see each other at least every year, because you've always come. I think you've come for every event that we've held. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's good to have you on set today. We really appreciate that you made time for us. There's a question I'm asking every woman on set today, and that is what you love most about being a woman. What do you pride yourself in being a woman?
I think we are really pretty. I think we're just the most beautiful beings ever created. I really enjoy that part. We enjoy prettiness, we enjoy beautiful things, we create beautiful things. I really, yeah, that's what I've enjoyed, I'm enjoying, and I know I will enjoy.
That's what you're enjoying about being a woman. Yeah. What does it feel like being a woman in the industry?
Well, at the beginning, I would say, because I've been around for a while. I started off as a guitarist. That's what I did, but I was in law school. So I wear two hats. So I wear the corporate hat sometimes, and then I wear the musician hat, and then now as a co-founder of the African Women's Orchestra. And at the beginning, it was lonely. It was really, really lonely, because you'd get on stage and you are an instrumentalist, because everybody knows that if you hear a girl is in a band, she's singing. So I would be the girl in the band, not singing, but playing an instrument. And that's where the inspiration for African Women's Orchestra came from, because I wanted to be with other instrumentalists who are women. So it started off being lonely, but then also learning and observing the patterns. So I realized that there were no women at the time that I could look up to, because what would happen is people would, I'm not the first one, and I'm definitely not the first instrumentalist, but people would get to a certain point and stop playing. And I'm really inspired by what I heard from Furaha and how she...
I hear your mic is having a bit of an issue, but it's going to be sorted right now. Now, when we talk of orchestra music, it is classical music. You know, the difference between classical music and modern music, the one that we are used to, is somewhat in the instrumentation. And Wandiri is going to correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's in the instrumentation and the fact that when we're having classical music, it's a blend of so much. It's a blend of so many instruments, you know, the orchestra, whereby there are so many instruments that are being played, and that's the difference, because we have different sounds.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
You're correct. You've been listening. So the orchestra has strings, it has woodwinds, and it has brass and percussion. So strings are the violin. They call it the guitar that you hold like this, and the smaller one, bigger one. Cello is the one that they stand and sit and play. And then the double bass, somebody stands. But they're wooden instruments with strings. And woodwind would include clarinet, saxophone. Saxophone people know. We have a very young saxophonist. She's only 17. Really excited to have her on board, because again, for us, intergenerational, you know, passing on of that information and being able to show younger women that you can do this for a long time. And then brass. Everybody knows brass. Trumpets. The ladies coming from Uganda. We have a tuba player and a trombone player coming from Uganda, from a project called Brass for Africa, which is a UK charity, and they have operations in Uganda. And Andrew, who runs the program there, is very keen to see what we can do in the region, because again, we rebranded to the African Women's Orchestra last year, because we are looking at ourselves as a regional kind of space, not just about what is happening in Kenya, but also now, of course, East Africa, and what else we can do with other people from other parts of Africa.
Just on a lighter note, one of my directors up there, my producer of the day, Fadhili, anauliza ile nafanyanga, I don't know which one that is.
I don't know which one that is.
You are to G,
anajua ile ya flute inachezwa na side. He must come for the show. He must come for the show. You just have to come for the show, because it's foreign. We don't know about it. We don't know about it at all. Now, you mentioned that you rebranded, because I knew you, for the shows that I've attended, there were the women
Women in Kenya,
International Women's Day concerts.
But it was Women in Kenya Orchestra or something.
It was, well, we've had different names, Kenya Conservatoire Women's Orchestra, Women's Orchestra, just as, but then when we branched out, because when I left the Kenya Conservatoire of Music, I left to do the Women's Orchestra. That's actually what was very key in my next transition, because we talk about women in the space, but like you had Furaha say, it's not a space that has many women. It is not a space that is very supportive of women, because you'll talk to producers, you'll talk to directors, even for a very long time, even in the whole world, not just in Africa, in the whole world, orchestras were actually just made up of men. Very recently did we start having women in the orchestra, and they do something called blind auditions. That's actually how women started getting in, because you would audition for the orchestra behind a curtain.
Oh, really?
So that you're playing.
Oh, so they don't realize if you're a woman. Oh, that's
so that you can get a place. And I think a lot of the discussions around representation and inclusion is really about we are all human beings. We just have different parts, and I think we have systems that want to ensure that one gender remains behind, and other systems that want to create I guess it's power politics. But if we have a place where, as long as you're a woman, you can play in this space, and you can be accepted, and you can learn from the experiences of others. Because there's no need to learn for yourself. You can learn for other people.
You don't have to learn from your experiences.
Your experiences. There's no need to be character developed. We can use our bad experiences and our good experiences to pass on. And I think one of the things in the 8 years, this is our eighth event. When women are not in competition, they work really, really well together. And I've learned so much from my co-founder, Kezia and Twiga. I've learned so much from the instrumentalists. And I woke up to people and I was like, yeah, we know you. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't know your name, but yes, I came for your show. I really want to be part of it. People reach out on the socials. People reach out to you on DM. Guys are just like, oh, can I join? I want to know when I can come. I know when I can. I used to play saxophone. I used to play this thing. And I'm like, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your time. Please come, join. Because if you keep playing, then you have a reason to be in the space where you're learning from others.
How far in are we in the fight, in the inclusion fight? You know, specifically orchestra.
Well, I think here I don't think we have such a disparity. What the Women's Orchestra, the first time we did it in 2017, we had over 50 women on stage. And what happened is everybody who played an instrument just came. And we didn't know how it was needed, because of how many people set up and came together to be with us. I wouldn't say we are where we want to be, but I like to look at it optimistically, like we are in a good place.
As it is right now, we are not very badly off. We are getting somewhere, and it's always good to know that we are headed somewhere, you know? It's not like it used to be back in the day. Like you said, you used to do blind auditions. You know, at least we are not in that era anymore.
We are, at least now, and in this country, the history of orchestras is really long. There's been Nairobi Orchestra, I think, that was set up in 1947. The Conservatoire was in 1944. At that time, the inclusion issue was race. Now we are more, if you come for any orchestra event, you are looking at an orchestra that looks like the people who live here, with a few people who are visiting. But we also, I think, have to look at what narrative are we telling. One of the things we made a priority is we always have a woman musician who we back up. So in 2022 we had Fena. We did arrangements of her songs. Last year it was Mayonde. We did an arrangement of a few of her songs. Actually got one that she had performed in Germany, I believe. So the arrangement actually came as was, and we played with her in last year's event. And this year we have Liboy, a young, fantastic soulful song singer-songwriter, and we are arranging 2 of her songs and playing with the orchestra. And she's got like the right messaging and just the good vibes that we are trying to push this year.
Actually, speaking of Liboy, Liboy is really good at what she does. We've hosted her on this show before, and she is absolutely talented. And to know that you're working with her this time round, for sure, all the reasons to come for the show one more time, you know. Right now, we take a short musical break. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, and that is Amelina, and we were just asking ourselves, where did Amelina go?
Actually,
she's really good at what she does. I hope that she's gonna come back to music. Now, before we took that musical break, we were talking about the artists that you're gonna have this year. You know, you've had Fena before. This year, you're working with Liboy. Maybe why did you pick Liboy?
Actually, it was such a... I always say that some of these things just come to you. I was at an event with Anyiko last year. She had a show with Anyiko, and she just walked up to me and she was like, "Oh, I'd like to play with you." And at the time, we were going to work with somebody else, and then somehow things fell through. And then when I called her and I said, "Oh, are you able to do it?" and she said yes. And I asked her which songs would you want us to do with our theme Get Out, Up, Through. And she chose the songs, and we arranged them, and here we are.
What is going to be different this year with the orchestra?
I think we've done different things in the coming years as we in the past years, as we are working on what works for our market and what we are trying to do. This time we've really been heavily supported by the State Department for Arts, Culture and Heritage. We had a rehearsal space from the Permanent Presidential Music Commission. They gave us rehearsal space for the season. The venue space has been sponsored by the National Museums of Kenya. So there's definitely in this year a huge support from the State Department, and the PS has been of course talking about what it is we need to do in the space. Ms. Umi Bashir, we are at the place where if government is not helping certain things happen, then they will not grow in the manner that they need to. So that's definitely something that's different. I think our orchestra is younger, like lots of young people have joined us, I would say, and yeah, it's going to be different. I think from last year even, just from last year.
Yeah, and maybe just how receptive are Kenyans to this style of music, orchestra?
I really think people just want to be shown something different, because there is no show that we've done that we've had, "Oh, I didn't like that." No, they always come and they are surprised by what they hear. There's a friend of mine who says, "Yo muziki ya kuogelea." She calls it muziki ya kuogelea, but it is a different kind of sound that people are not used to, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
You are running with the theme Get Out. You just mentioned it.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
So every year when we do the event, yes, of course there is the International Women's Day theme, which is, I think, Inspire Inclusion. But we run our themes from October. We decide our themes in October of the previous year. And so this year, last year we were talking about moving forward, but it became very clear that we need as many women as possible to get out and be seen, get out of bad situations, be able, and the word out being out, up and through. So get out, up, get through. So that you have to get out of your situation, you have to stand up from whatever situation that you're going through, and then you have to get through it so that you can be seen. which is, yeah. So it had many layers in what we were talking, we were thinking to communicate, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so that's how we came up with it together with Kezia.
Yeah, so you're running with it just for the show?
For the year.
For the entire year, so it's something that you...
Yes, and then in October we'll have another theme now for International Women's Day 2025. So
all right,
because this one is the 8th one.
Yeah, yeah, it is the 8th edition.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe what changes would you love to see happen?
I think like what's happened with the support like from the State Department of Culture, I think it would be nice to see a lot more people come up and support in these inclusive spaces. I saw you had the Women in Film Awards, and a lot of people are doing things for women and by women. It would be nice to see a lot more of the private sector come in and sit and discuss, because sometimes while you understand they have a business end or a CSR end and they have what they want to see done, there is a lot of potential in the space. And I think the partnership with private sector can really help not only the creative and cultural industries grow, but creative and cultural industries for women grow, because again there is a lot of narrative building that we have in this space. So for example, if we talk about like these things that we wear, a lot of this fashion and all that is women driven, but is it women led?
Yeah.
A lot of film, TV series, all that is women. You know, you have women on this side, but are they the ones making the decisions? Are they the ones writing the scripts? Is it their narratives that are being put out, or are there narratives that are like putting forward the stereotypes that are negative towards women. So I think that investment will really grow us as a continent, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'd definitely like to see. And I know these are policy discussions, legislative discussions, but in terms of what audiences see and what audiences experience, that can only happen if there's a massive pool of funds and pool of you know, investment in that space, so that you can see when we are talking about industry, we are not talking like an artist and saying there's not many female producers, there's not many female directors, that we're talking of a 50-50 parity sort of space. Yeah.
And I agree with you on that. Maybe who are some of the women that have inspired you over the years to get to where you are right now, and what is the importance of having the backing of a woman?
Yeah, that's such a long story, but let me. I think there's several things, and and I will just start like with professionally. I've had women support, you know, both the hats that I wear. I worked with June when June's intellectual property outfit when I was starting out in the space, and that support, that opportunity was really good to do that. And June Gashui does many things. She's on radio, she's on TV, she's on film, and that's inspiring to watch. I happen to be friends with Kasiva, I would say the best percussionist in this region ever. She is the best. And she supported us by supporting the young women of Motra, who have also grown, and they are now Mahaba. So I'm watching her doing her thing, and she's done quite a bit of that. There's Olivia Mbani, who was one of our artists, I think in 2019, I believe, if I got the year wrong, but she's doing things in money conversation. She's talking about marketing. So she's doing many things. So watching these peers do their thing and do their thing in the way that they're doing, yet I appreciate that, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by such strong women. Yeah. And now I want us to be more of us, so that everybody can have their story of the people who they've watched grow and support each other.
Yeah. And it's always beautiful to see women, you know, backing other women.
Exactly.
You know, it's always good to see women just coming together. And you mentioned earlier on that when we put the competition aside, beautiful things happen.
Beautiful things happen. Like even Kezia is younger, much younger than I am. But when we started, we never talked about age. We didn't talk about anything. She's a conductor. She's a mechatronics engineer, and she's a violinist. So she's doing all these things and doing them beautifully. And when we sat, we didn't talk about age. We just talked about, I think we can do this thing. And then what are the challenges you've had as a conductor? What are the challenges I've had as an instrumentalist? What can we create that can put sort of ease and make it easier for other people to, as I said, not have to be character developed. Yes. Yeah.
All right, as we finish off with this discussion, the African Women's Orchestra. I don't know why that name is just really playing with my mind.
AWO, just say AWO.
AWO, yes, African Women's Orchestra. Yes. It's happening on Saturday.
On
Sunday,
yes.
rather. Or where is it happening? What time museum?
Yes, it's happening.
Just tell us the details.
At Louis Leakey Auditorium, supported by the National Museums of Kenya. We have a 3 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show. So after you finish church, you can come, or after you finish lunch after church, you come at 6. So 3 and 6, and our tickets are on mook.com.
How much are the tickets going for?
1,500 for adults and 500 for children, because we know, you know, you can have a whole family event, and it's a family show. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Maybe your parting shots?
My parting shot.
To the woman watching?
For the woman watching, whatever it is that you are, just be your authentic self and enjoy being a woman. It's the only thing we have.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and all the best in everything that you do.
Asante.
And this is where we wrap up Entertainment Thursday. Good morning, Kenya, for today, just for me, because my DJ is still here, DJ Jessie, and she will be mixing. You know, she'll be giving us some mixes on the decks right there. But for me, I want to wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing, and happy International Women's Day to all the women out there.